We came to a stop about 100 yards back behind us, and that's when something started. There was a water bottle thrown. I believe some rocks were thrown, and that's when police moved up on the sidewalks, deployed that spray, and that's what made it hard for a lot of folks to breathe here. But, however, the throwing stopped. No property was damaged in that immediate area, and the crowd continued to move down on here. We're walking past Pike Place right now. Mary, right now we're walking just past CenturyLink and Safeco. You can see that line of police keeping anyone from going anywhere close to either of those properties right now. And I believe one of the protesters being picked up by police. He's being arrested just beyond that line, and they're taking him to the ground. They're taking 2 protesters to the ground right now, just beyond this line of bicycles. And I just want to show this way that final line of defense that I mentioned. Edgar Martinez, police have been stationed there for probably about the past half hour. We could see their lights in the distance as we made our way this way. No one is going to be making it past that line of police. They had cruisers parked there, far more formidable than these bicycles that we're seeing being moved time and time again. That command moved back. Now the battle cry of police. Meanwhile, protesters about 50 yards this way. Sunday, it was the music before the madness. 2 sides sending a very different message.
Can I talk to your sergeant? Can he dismiss you and we can square up?
The closest thing to a compromise.
Oh, we're here to protect both property and people.
We've seen it before. And Sunday, the clashes came quick. Less than 2 blocks into the march from Westlake, fireworks found a glass balcony, sending shards raining onto the street. At every step, bike cops kept the crowds moving. All right, pepper spray's being deployed. And when they didn't,
I had my goggles on.
Pepper sprayed me, big bear maced me.
And it came in right through the side.
He was talking to a police officer. Bam!
ask them why they marched, and those in masks yelled anarchy. But for a young man named Spyro,
right now, I'm staying under a bridge.
There was more.
Lost the job, lost my house, lost my car. Ended up having enough money from my last paycheck to bus out here.
But Sunday, any hope to draw attention to homelessness was lost in this. One arrest after another, until finally protesters started ditching their tools of the trade. In the bag, black clothing. We got that hammer. By nightfall, a 3-hour march ended in a Soto parking lot. Police putting an end to the madness, at least till next year.
They walked to the local grocery store and
it's become the story of Seattle. Another high-rise, a new hotel.
Don't worry, George, said Marco.
But buried between both, you'll find an older story that could be facing its final chapter.
You have some very young children, you have some young staff, middle-aged staff, and you have a very old lady here. And it's a microcosm of life.
A microcosm created by Julie Dimitri, who 17 years ago moved Paideia Academy downtown, offering a Montessori education and playtime in a park just across the street.
Oh, it was a great spot. It was the only grassy area in the area.
That changed this summer when construction turned the page for progress and put Paideia in a tight spot.
I knew it was going to be developed eventually. They're developing everything now. If I don't find something, I'll be closed.
See, right now what Paideia needs more than anything is space. 750 square feet to be exact, or roughly the size of this alley. Not much, but enough to meet the state requirement when it comes to playgrounds.
I just feel all I want is 750 square feet of outside space. It sounds so ridiculous.
With a state deadline of October 1st, Dimitri's now looking for anything to stay compliant. She says her landlord, Equity Properties, already turned down her request for space in a courtyard or parking garage, and that she missed out on a rooftop due to plans for a dog park.
Their dogs in 20 years aren't going to run their government. These children are going to be running governments, and they're going to be doctors and everything.
There, she said, pointing to the top shelf.
Promising futures in a story that's not over just yet.
The whole family loved them.
In Belltown, Morgan Chesky.
George did too.
KOMO News.
The end.
It's the laugh that means even more. When you meet the man who
who has seen the unimaginable.
I was 25th Infantry Division, and I was in the 4th Battalion, 9th Infantry, the Manchus.
A veteran of Vietnam who since his time in the jungle has suffered the unthinkable, yet somehow manages a smile. Ask Rick Lancaster III how he does it, and he'll say faith. But ask him how he feels.
When I get up in the morning, I'm feeling real good. But once I start moving, I start going downhill.
A downhill spiral of illnesses he blames on wartime exposure to Agent Orange. The chemical, he says, slowly robbed him of the ability to walk, confining him to a tiny apartment where he grew so desperate he put up cameras just for a glimpse of the world he once knew.
Lonely, very lonely. Did a lot of crying, a lot of weeping, a lot of praying.
But it was one prayer in the form of a Facebook post.
We got some cleaning gloves.
Putting Rick in touch with a guardian angel
Pop-Tarts.
he never even knew he had.
This lady called me from Oklahoma and said, you know, that she's got a guy that's really in need.
Yeah, I think they saw it.
A prayer from Tacoma, seen in Oklahoma.
Candy!
Finally answered by Robert Smiley, who figured it couldn't be coincidence but providence. He knew exactly where to find this. A scooter.
Oh, that's cool.
Bound for a big surprise.
Air in the tires is ready to go.
When volunteers fixed it up for free.
Oh, let's get this sucker off the thing here.
For a delivery one man never saw coming.
How you doing? I'm Robert Smiley.
And that's when this veteran learned his prayer was answered.
This is mine?
This is yours.
A gift courtesy of strangers, promising something Rick hadn't felt in nearly 4 years.
This works pretty good, doesn't it?
Freedom.
Wow.
To be in the driver's seat of his own life. A blessing he had all but forgotten.
What I like about it, I finally got a seat in the house that feels comfortable.
This was supposed to happen this way.
And that's when the man who's seen the worst this world has to offer
Right?
witnessed what can happen when strangers are at their best.
I'll go get you some tissue.
That's a miracle. That's what I call a miracle. And I tell you, thank God for that.
In Tacoma, Morgan Chesky, KOMO News.
People saw it, they were pointing, someone else's car got hit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Only in Seattle could an unexpected shower
We heard it, we could see it falling all around.
It was just a huge crash.
ruin the sunniest of days.
We saw something hit the windshield, it cracked, and glass went everywhere.
And I heard something hit the ground and then hit me in the head. And I looked over and saw glass falling and breaking in all those spots.
On the pavement, on the cars, on the minds of people watching from below.
I see an open window.
Searching the skies for an answer.
It smashed the front of the windshield.
Kelly Arbuckle didn't look up until she knew it was safe. Her car, one of several, struck by a high-rise window, coming down in pieces.
I don't know how far up it was when it came out, but scary.
And I was on the phone with the police, and then a second window pane fell out and started smashing everywhere and hitting people's cars.
As police blocked off the scene, crews at 1521 Condo found the problem more than 30 floors above. A double-pane window in an empty apartment that for some reason split.
I don't know what's going on.
Somehow, no one below was hurt. And on a block this busy, that's quite the lucky break.
Who knows what would have happened? Just literally got in the car. So a few seconds later, it would have rained down on our heads.